I want to bring in Trump Campaign National Co-Chairman and Chief Policy Advisor Sam Clovis. Sam, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me on, Maria, and I'm honored to be on your anniversary. It's been fantastic. You do such a great job.
Sam, we appreciate that so much. It's been a great year, actually. Ratings up big. Let me ask you about this poll. Does it concern you that more Americans are looking at Hillary Clinton and saying, look, put leadership aside, she could actually run the country, and she's actually leading him right now in this poll?
No, not at all. I think that the fact that we're within the margin of error, striking distance, is really positive for us. I did not anticipate catching up with her this early. I thought we would probably have to wait for the convention bump to pull even with her. We got to remember we're still over 160 days out from the election. A lot can happen in this time period. And as we've talked about on this program many times, you know, Ronald Reagan was 40 points behind Jimmy Carter at about this time in his campaign in 1980. So I'm not terribly concerned. In fact, I think it's very positive news for us, the fact that we're able to pull up alongside of her and race her door handle as we go down the track here.
Sam, that press conference yesterday when Donald Trump called the reporter from ABC a sleaze, and basically he got on the press. I mean, can this hurt him at some point by being so, you know, straightforward in terms of how he feels about reporters? And also, wasn't it the reporters who basically pushed for the information in terms of where the money went for the veterans? What's wrong with that?
Well, I think there's a double standard, and I don't think anybody would disagree with that. I think that you know, that we have a situation with Mr. Trump to deal with all these things. I think that the press has been essentially very difficult to deal with in many circumstances. I know for a lot of us are relatively new to this. Mr. Trump is not. He's been in the press for 40 years, and I think that he sees this. This is probably there are moments that it comes to a culmination point where he has to say something, and I think this actually resonates extremely well with the voters because I think the voters hold a lot of the same beliefs, and I think this is particularly on the people that support Mr. Trump. People who have been disenfranchised, people who have not voted, who have stayed away from the polls for years because they just don't trust anybody in politics, and he is the ultimate outsider.
But Sam, you'll admit, though, that the campaign and his popularity has been helped by the press. I mean, it is his presence on the national stage, on television and other forms of media, that has led to him winning the Republican nomination. I just wonder, if he hates the press so much, then why does he get upset about the questions they ask?
Well, Dagan, it's a great point. I think if you take a look at the value of the earned media that the campaign has had, it's in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And as we know, you dominate every cable news network. You can't find a crawl line that doesn't have the Trump name in it.
Right.
Those are all real positive. But I think it's a love-hate relationship. There are a lot of the reporters out there that are very professional, done a tremendous job, asked tough questions, and gotten good answers, and have been persistent in asking that. There are others, and many of us, myself included, have been scurrilously attacked and with total untruths put in national publications, and this becomes very difficult, and it's hard to keep your patience when you see that kind of thing go on, and particularly for people who seem to do it with absolutely no pangs of conscience. And that, I think, is one of the most difficult aspects, because even in business, there's a moral code. The American business environment requires a certain amount of trust. And when you sit down and talk to someone, and a reporter in particular, and you answer their questions, you expect them to report that accurately. And when they don't do it, then you have to ask yourself what the agenda might be.
Yeah. No, you make a good point, Sam.